Good afternoon. Welcome to the State of the University Address sponsored by the Academic Senate. I want to thank you all for being here, and I would especially like to thank our interpreter, Callie Haberger. To begin, I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce myself. I am Professor Susan Coulter from the Department of English. I am just starting my 15th year at ISU, 9th year on the Academic Senate, and my first year as chair of the Senate. I'm very honored to serve in this role and look forward to a wonderful and productive year. For those of you who are new to ISU, or for those of you who have not been actively involved in the Senate, the Academic Senate is the primary governing body at Illinois State University and allows for participation in academic governance by all stakeholders: faculty, students, civil service, AP, and faculty associates. We are one of only a handful of Senates nationwide that have significant student representation. Thus, we are an academic Senate, not just a faculty Senate. It is our job to recommend educational policy for the university and to advise the president on its implementation. Any member of the academic community may bring an issue of concern to the Senate through an appropriate Senate committee or an individual senator. Please feel free at any time to come by, call, or email me. There are many opportunities available to serve on either the Senate or one of its external committees, and you will meet and work with colleagues from across campus that you would never otherwise come in contact with. You will also be part of our wider shared governance tradition, an enlightening and enjoyable experience, and a defining property of ISU, one that makes ISU a place where rank and file members of the campus are the primary agents of continuity and change. We have a strong history and commitment to shared governance. It is an important part of what makes this a university on the rise and a great place to work. While I have a good cross-section of the university here, I want to thank Dr. Daniel Holland for the outstanding leadership of the Senate that he provided over the last 7 years, an era during which both the diversity and the academic promise of our student body steadily increased. During his term as Senate chair, we addressed a lot of important issues. For example, in-depth reviews and revisions to our ASPT policies and student code of conduct, a revision of our general education program, further strengthening of our long traditions of academic freedom and shared governance, the first stage of a long-range financial planning process, and the implementation of campus-wide commentaries on vice presidential and division performance. I hope that I am able to serve just as brilliantly. As you may know, Dan is now chairperson of the illustrious Department of Physics, passing up a well-deserved sabbatical. I look forward to being less of a glutton for punishment when I retire from the chairship. Turning to our main event, President Larry Dietz is here today to give us his first State of the University address. Dr. Dietz served for 3 years as Vice President of Student Affairs before becoming President. Before that, he was Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs and Special Assistant to the Chancellor at Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. In addition to being our president, he is a proud member of the faculty in the Department of Educational Administration and Foundations and has served as a mentor for the ISU Leads Student Leadership Development Program. As is the custom, President Dietz will speak for approximately 20 minutes, and then the floor will be open for questions. Members of the ISU community were also able to email questions for the president in advance. Following the address, please join us for a reception in the lobby. And I know that you have not come to see me, so it is now my pleasure to introduce the 19th president of Illinois State University, Dr. Larry Dietz.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, thank you very much. I hope my remarks are up to that applause. Really appreciate all of you being here today. I want to start by saying thank you to Senator Coulter and to the Academic Senate for all their wisdom, their knowledge, their patience, and working with me in this new role. I've enjoyed working with Academic Senate the whole time that I've been here and enjoying it even more as the president. So thank you very much, Senator Coulter, and all the members of the Academic Senate. Faculty members, staff members, students, alumni, annuitants, and friends, I want to say good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be a part of this today. I'm very appreciative of that. Before I get into my remarks today, I'd like to make a few introductions. And the first, many of you have met my wife, partner, and best friend, Marlene Dietz. Marlene, could you please stand and be recognized? Some of you have may attended other events where I've mentioned this, but I'm going to do it again. Marlene's been my First Lady for a long time, and she's doing a great job as the First Lady of this university. She has her own successful career and has modified her schedule substantially to serve Illinois State University and to help me out. So Marlene, thank you for all you do for me and for the university. Next, I would like to introduce members of the Board of Trustees of Illinois State University. I'm going to introduce them, would ask that they stand. If we could hold our applause to the end, that would be appreciated. First, Chairperson Rocky Donahue, Trustee Betty Kinzer, Student Trustee Ellen Schumacher, Trustee Emeritus Aaron Von Qualen. Aaron was somewhere in the back here, as I remember. There you are. And if I've missed anybody, please stand up and we'll acknowledge you. But please help me give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. None of these folks get any pay for their service, and they provide a lot of service, and we're really indebted to you. Thank you very much. I would also like to introduce President Emeritus Dr. David Strand. Dr. Strand, would you stand and be recognized? I want to say again, thanks for taking time to be here today and advocating for Illinois State University. The last State of the University address was delivered on Thursday, October the 17th, 2013. In the 335 days that have elapsed since then, there has been a bit of change at Illinois State. I may know what you're thinking, but if you'll give me a minute, let me talk first about the change that, in my estimation, really matters for this university. Last year at this time, we enrolled 2,981 new freshmen to campus, and for the first time in many years, our total on-campus enrollment dipped below 20,000. This year, our freshman enrollment is 3,589. We are up 608 students, our largest class since 1989. Total on-campus enrollment is a much healthier 20,271, and total university enrollment, including off-campus enrollment, is 20,615. That's an enviable position by most other public universities in the state. In addition, more than 25% of Illinois State University's freshman class is comprised of students from traditionally underrepresented groups, and our total student diversity jumped 10% to almost 4,000 students, overall about 20% of our entire student population. Other good news, last year at this time we reported total fiscal year fundraising productivity at $14.76 million. This year we're proud to report total fundraising productivity at $19.5 million as of the last fiscal year, including 6 commitments of $1 million or more. More good news. Last year at this time, Illinois State ranked 81st on the U.S. News & World Report list of national public universities. This year, we've jumped 7 spots, cracking the top 75 for the first time, ranking 74th in the nation. More good news. Last year at this time, we were not on the list of Money Magazine's best colleges at all. This year, Illinois State is ranked as one of the 25 colleges nationally that add the most value. Their terminology is that these are the best bang for the buck institutions in the country, and we're not only on that list, but we're in the top 25. Last year, if you're a football fan, our football Redbirds played just 5 home games. This year, we're having 7 home games. And last year, not a single one of our 200,000 alumni became a star on America's Got Talent. This year, the nation, that's right, that's good. This year, the nation met Christian Stoyanev, who proclaimed to a mere millions and millions of people across the country that he is indeed a proud Redbird. And while he didn't win the competition, he did win the hearts of a lot of people and showed his Redbird pride. And we're very proud of Christian. These are the changes that bring us joy, that make us proud to be a part of the Illinois State University family. I also know that you were the catalyst for this change, the outstanding faculty, staff, and students of Illinois State University. Now about some of that other change that I thought about, and you were perhaps thinking about when I mentioned the term change in the first place. There's no question that during the past year that many may have experienced confusion and possibly contention. In the end, I believe that experience brought us even closer together as colleagues. We didn't break, we did not even bend. As an institution, we emerged strong, and today the state of Illinois State University remains vibrant, resilient, powerful, and eager to address the challenges of the future. On March 22nd of this year, I was honored and humbled to be appointed as the 19th president of the university. I told those in attendance that day that we have all been working very hard. There's a lot of work to do, so let's get to work. And all of us have been working very hard. Through the spring and summer months and now into the fall, all in anticipation of a terrific 2014-15 academic year. As I'm sure it is for you, my tasks are many and my priorities are aligned with the mission, vision, and values of our strategic plan, Educating Illinois. My first priority will be my focus on stable, high-quality leadership. Right now, as most of you know, Illinois State is in a unique position of having 4 interim vice presidents. All 4 are with us today, and I want to thank and acknowledge them. After I've introduced each of them and they stand, please join me in a warm round of applause. First, our Vice President and Provost, Dr. Janet Kresge. Second, Vice President for Student Affairs, Dr. Brent Patterson. Third, Vice President for Finance and Planning, Greg Alt. And an appointment of about 10 days ago, the Vice President of University Advancement, Pat Vickerman. Let's give them a round of applause. I want to say thanks to each of you for agreeing to serve. This is a terrific team. Any interim role is a challenging assignment, and I have been an interim myself, but I want you to know that each of our leaders has my full confidence, and that confidence extends to their leadership teams and to the faculty and staff members that make up their leadership teams in each of the divisions. As you may know, with the participation of the Academic Senate, our chief shared governance authority, we've already begun the search process for the Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost. I'm pleased to tell you that Anthony Krubaugh, Tony, I don't know if you're here. Are you here? Would you raise your hand? He's teaching probably at this point. Oh, there you are, all the way in the back. Tony is the chair of the history department, but he will chair this search along with a diverse committee of faculty, staff, and students selected through our governance processes. And Tony, in advance, thank you for all the hard work. And for those of you who've been appointed already, thank you in advance. And for those of you who haven't been asked but will be, thank you in advance for your service. Later this semester, we will begin the search for the Vice President for University Advancement. These searches will take a great deal of time, energy, and commitment, not only from the committee members, but from all of you as well, who will be asked to provide your input on these important public searches. Please use your networking abilities to ensure that we have a deep and diverse pool of candidates. And please be sure to participate during the on-campus interviewing portions of the searches. Your input is very, very important. Clearly, conducting 4 vice presidential searches simultaneously would place undue stress on our governance leaders and on all of us. I expect these first two searches to be completed with appointments made prior to the end of this academic year. Then in the fall of 2015, we will begin the search for the Vice President for Finance and Planning, followed closely by the search for the Vice President for Student Affairs. I've communicated with our shared governance leaders who understand that interim leadership in student affairs and finance and planning will extend through the 2015-16 academic year, so we can stagger those a little bit. As you may remember, there were brief discussions last year about adding two new cabinet-level positions. One, a Vice President and Chief Information Officer, and the other, an Assistant to the President for Diversity. Currently, I do not have plans to pursue creating those positions, at least for now, given the time and commitment to the vice presidential searches. As I told a gathering of faculty and staff members from underrepresented groups on August the 26th, I believe that the emphasis and resources need to be more immediately invested in the vice presidential searches at hand. Still, I am keenly aware that the goal of diversity and diversity of our faculty and staff remains a challenge at Illinois State University. I plan to address this challenge through discussions with our deans, chairs, and the directors who hire for departments and other campus units. In addition, I will put into place a process to collect fresh data to assess the climate for diversity on campus and in the community. I also understand that I have to walk the talk. To that end, I will place a personal emphasis on attracting administrators from underrepresented groups. In addition, I am currently working with the Office of Equal Opportunity, Ethics, and Access to bring more diversity to that important office. I will also be working closely with the shared governance committees charged with selecting candidates for our vice presidents, and I will place high importance on seeking candidates from diverse backgrounds. I do believe that Illinois State has an impressive number of high-quality people, programs, and organizations that enhance and promote diversity on campus. Our success in our student recruitment and retention reflects that effort. If you belong to a faculty or staff group that promotes diversity, and you have ideas about how we might advance that goal within the organization, that value within the organization, please invite me to one of your meetings. I would be glad to attend and listen to your thoughts and ideas. I don't have the magic way of advancing this issue by myself, so that's something that we all, in my estimation, need to be a part of. We all recruit students, we all help retain students, and we all should help allow us to become more diverse. I also invite you to pay an online visit to the updated Educating Illinois Progress Report to view some of our shared accomplishments under our core value of diversity. A lot has been accomplished, but I'm also quite aware that there is much more to do. As I said earlier, the diversity among our student body is growing, and I believe that there is room for additional growth. I plan to build on the momentum of this year's strong total freshman class through expanded marketing, course availability, financial aid opportunities, and retention efforts. I also plan to build on our higher student diversity numbers, not only through statewide recruitment efforts, but through initiatives abroad. Next month, I will travel to China with our new Director of International Studies, Dr. Luis Canales, for the express purpose of developing relationships that will bring more overseas students to study and earn degrees from Illinois State. Representatives from Brazil, Panama, Mexico, Israel, other countries within Asia and in the Middle East have also expressed interest in partnering with Illinois State University. In addition, we are also committed to increasing the number of university students studying abroad. While we will never deny access to academically motivated in-state students to attend Illinois State, I believe the university has the ability and the capacity for moderate growth, and I believe some of that growth can be achieved with students from diverse cultures. Illinois State University has a great deal to offer these students: academic programs in business, science, technology, healthcare, education, and the arts, among many others. As we answer the charge of our new strategic plan for international studies, it is time to achieve a more globally reflective student population. In addition to diversity, another core value of Illinois State is the pursuit of learning and scholarship. Indeed, we offer more than 200 undergraduate and graduate programs. Many are nationally ranked, and all are provided to our students with individualized attention, yet another core value. I believe that this high level of individualized attention is the central reason we are able to recruit, retain, and graduate highly motivated and successful students. In the classroom and in our many learning laboratories, faculty and staff, support staff members work closely with students with a passion not found at many universities with populations of our size. In addition to undergraduate instruction, our research activity continues to place Illinois State in the spotlight. This past fiscal year, ISU received more than 250 grants with a total value approaching $20 million. Our faculty researchers work closely with graduate and undergraduate students to add to our shared knowledge and advance our rapidly changing society. At Illinois State, we're also admired for our work beyond the classroom and laboratory, most specifically with civic engagement, yet another of our core values. The American Democracy Project, the Political Engagement Project, the Center for Teaching, Learning, and Technology, and the ISU Leads programs are among the many initiatives that inspire students to challenge themselves through leadership and through community service. These programs complement our academic minor in civic engagement and raise our profile as one of the first among only 24 universities in the entire country to be recognized as a civic learning leadership institution. This year, I will ask our leadership in academic affairs and in student affairs to explore and initiate plans to create a Center for Civic Engagement. Among the goals of the center would be to catalog, connect, and assist with the coordination of programs and departments, as well as the efforts of individual faculty, students, and staff who participate in civic engagement activities. The center could also serve as a clearinghouse for information and a central point for the distribution of promotional materials to the campus and greater community. The synergy gained by all of us, knowing what each of us are doing, in my estimation, will be significant. Illinois State is a community partner, not only for Bloomington Normal, but for the entire state. A Center for Civic Engagement will also have an outward focus, inviting the collaboration and participation of local and state groups and individuals to join our efforts to produce an educated, active, and engaged citizenry. A Center for Civic Engagement also has the potential to add new research and grant activity. Another priority for the coming year at the university is the university accreditation process. As you know, Illinois State is accredited by the Higher Learning Commission of the North Central Association of Colleges and Schools. Accreditation is a process that provides assurances to the public and in particular to prospective students that Illinois State meets clearly stated requirements and criteria. The process assures quality by verifying that we meet high standards and are engaged in continuous improvement. Illinois State is committed to the highest quality in education and considers the reaffirmation process an important opportunity for critical self-analysis leading to improvement of our programs and services. This year we'll be undergoing our 10-year comprehensive review. For Illinois State, planning for the review began almost 2 years ago. Since then, faculty, staff, and student teams have been creating and drafting accreditation document drafts which have been shared and refined through participation from leadership in our 4 divisions as well as our shared governance group. At the end of this month, I will submit the documents to the Board of Trustees for their review and comment. Through the rest of this semester and much of next semester, our work teams will conduct further campus outreach and finalize documents in preparation for the April site visit from the Higher Learning Commission peer review team. In June of 2015, the peer review team will submit its report to the Higher Learning Commission, and by my next State of the University address, I plan to have great news to share with all of you. In addition, we will be participating in Open Access, an initiative to review current faculty publishing practices and to draft a policy regarding open access to research articles based on criteria appropriate to the university. University accreditation and compliance with the Open Access to Research Articles Act are complex, demanding, time-consuming, sometimes frustrating, but they all require excellent leadership and full campus participation. For that excellent leadership, I want to personally thank Provost Janet Kresge, Associate Provost Jim Jawahar, Associate Vice President for Research and Undergraduate Studies John Bauer, and Bruce Stoffel, our Coordinator of Academic Programs and Policies. They've worked diligently to get us to where we are today. Thank you very much. I also want to thank members of our accreditation task force, the faculty, staff, and student members of our 7 work teams, and everyone in the campus community who has participated in this critical and revealing process. In addition, I am grateful to the 18-member Open Access Task Force and the more than 1/3 of our faculty who participated in an online survey and the many more who provided input at some of our open forum. A significant outgrowth of our Educating Illinois Strategic Plan is the Campus Master Plan, which has been delivering on recommendations with several exciting capital improvement projects over the years. In partnership with the town of Normal, University Galleries will open next month at Uptown Station, an attractive and highly trafficked location for exhibiting works by artists from the university community across the country and beyond. Newly remodeled spaces on campus include the first floor of Edwards Hall for the Mennonite College of Nursing. The first floor of Hovey Hall has also been renovated to serve as the new home to the Financial Aid Office, creating a convenient student and faculty combination with the admissions office 1 floor above. In the coming year, planning and design work will continue for the Fine Arts Complex, the first phase of the Bone Student Center revitalization project, and an addition to Watterson Commons. Work will also begin on the renovation of Capen Auditorium, a long-awaited state-funded upgrade to the university's largest classroom, and also on Turner Hall to develop a state-of-the-art culinary laboratory. Both are scheduled for completion in time for fall 2015 classes. In addition, there is a massive construction project on campus that you don't see, the Leap Forward Initiative. I know. I knew that was the reaction I was going to get. This is my 3rd campus, by the way, to be involved with a transformation of information systems, and they're all tough. But here, over 700 people across the university have engaged in transitioning the university's academic information infrastructure to a more flexible and modern system that we affectionately call Leap Forward. Much like substituting the features of an old car for a new one, the Leap Forward team has implemented a number of modern components within the student information, identity and access management, and business intelligence systems. This month, prospective students began applying for admission to the university through the new system. Work on student records, student accounts, financial aid, and housing and dining phases of the new system is now underway, with these phases planned for implementation in February of 2015. By next year, all student information system transactions will occur in the new systems. The Leap Forward project is not something you can tie a ribbon around, have a ribbon cutting for. It's hard to tour a system like that, and there are no walls to hold a plaque. But it is Illinois State's most important technological advancement in many, many years, and I thank everyone involved in its creation and implementation. As another exciting fall season of Redbird Athletics unfolds, I want to take a moment to congratulate our excellent athletic staff, our coaches, and most importantly, our student athletes. For the 23rd time in the last 24 years, ISU Athletics finished in the top 3 of the 2013-14 Missouri Valley Conference all-sports standings, placing 3rd overall. Last season's competitive achievement was highlighted by Illinois State's soccer team, which not only won the MVC regular season and tournament championships, but also earned an NCAA tournament first-round victory for the first time in league history. Led by Coach Drew Roth, the Redbirds are poised to defend their title this year as Illinois State hosts the 2014 Missouri Valley Conference Women's Soccer Championship in November. Along with athletic success, academic excellence continues to serve as a pillar of ISU athletics. Redbird student athletes have taken that practice to unprecedented levels in recent years, with the achievement of 3 team grade point averages records last spring. Overall, the athletic department posted a 3.13 grade point average. The athletics honor roll consisted of 247 student athletes, while 64 of those student athletes achieved a 4.0 grade point average for the semester. As current student athletes contribute to Illinois State's athletic department's rich tradition of success, proud Redbird alums continue to receive recognition for their accomplishments as well. Former Illinois State golfer and PGA Tour professional D.A. Weibring will be one of 6 inductees in the 18th Missouri Valley Conference Hall of Fame class. Additionally, 4 former ISU student athletes will be inducted into the Illinois State Athletics Percy Family Hall of Fame during homecoming weekend. ISU's athletic achievements have not gone unnoticed as ISU continues to work with Comcast Sportsnet Chicago to televise select Redbird football and men's and women's basketball games to more than 4.9 million homes. Getting a lot of visibility there. With the 2014-15 season now in full swing, ISU athletes, athletics coaches, student athletes, administration, and staff are working tirelessly to help the Redbirds represent ISU as a program committed to achieving academic and competitive victories. ISU is literally and figuratively a universe of priorities and ambitions. We are resplendent with ideas and initiatives to make this a better place for our campus and for the community, for the state, nation, and indeed the world, in which we gladly have served since our founding in 1857. The challenges then, now, and in the future will revolve around our ability to find funding sources to fuel our dreams. Currently, state support for public higher education in Illinois hovers at about 18%. That 18%, however, is a significant portion of our budget, and we are grateful that this year's appropriations remain level with last year's at about $74 million. We would be hard-pressed to come up with that $74 million on our own. Along with the increased revenue from a larger freshman class, we're really in pretty good shape now financially. We were able to recommend a tuition fee and room and board package for this year just 1.9% higher than last year's package, which in my estimation really says a lot about our concern about affordability. I was also pleased to be able to authorize an increase in the university's personal services line of 2% for modest faculty and staff merit-based salary increases. But budgetary threats remain, particularly in a state that makes headlines almost daily over its financial struggles. Still, I am optimistic about our ability to attract high numbers of qualified students, about the increased level of people giving back to Illinois State, alumni, corporate stakeholders, friends, and even us, the internal family of Illinois State University. As you may know, we are in the infancy of planning for the university's next comprehensive campaign. It will be some time before we launch a full and public campaign. But in that time, we will be collecting information and ideas to best position Illinois State for a stable financial future, and a campaign will be a part of that future. As we go forward, I can promise that all of you will have opportunities to contribute to those discussions, adding your voice, your thoughts, and your ideas. And your money, if you want to contribute before all of those are fully developed. It's not like we're waiting for a campaign. We raise money every day, the same way we recruit students every day, the same way we work hard to retain our students and so forth. But finally, and perhaps my most important priority, involves all of you. My service to higher education spans more than 40 years, but I'm entering just my 4th year as a part of the ISU family, and my 7th month in just a few days as president. During that time, I've had the pleasure to meet and talk with many of you. My goal for this year is to meet and talk with many more of you. People who know me will tell you that I'm a pretty social individual. I like to chat, I like to share some stories, and I like to learn from you. So feel free to drop me an email, corner me at an activity, invite me to a group meeting, or simply catch me walking through the quad sometime. And I want to hear about you. I want to hear about your goals and your aspirations. And one important thing I want to tell you about myself. I value our values. During this message, you heard me talk about them, specifically our core values under Educating Illinois: pursuit of learning and scholarship, individualized attention, diversity, and civic engagement. I believe that everything we do at Illinois State and for Illinois State must be aligned with those values. And I believe every goal we accomplish must be undergirded by our remaining core value, integrity. When we place our values into action, we succeed, and our colleagues in marketing and communication have a new website dedicated to that success. The Points of Pride website for Illinois State is a real-time, easily updated narrative of shared achievements. I invite you to visit our University Points of Pride page from a link on our homepage by visiting illinoisstate.edu/Points of Pride. That's not a static kind of message that we have there. So if you have points of pride that you want to add to that, please feel to contribute those and create new points of pride and share your success and our successes broadly. I want to say finally thank you again for your attendance today. I appreciate your kind attention. Please accept my best wishes for a terrific year at Illinois State University. Please know that I am honored to be your president and to advocate with passion for this university and for all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Dietz. President Dietz would like to reintroduce one of our Board of Trustees members. President Dietz.
There are a lot of firsts here today. Senator Coulter, it's her first time to chair the Academic Senate. It's my first State of the University address as your president. And we also have another first-timer here in Rocky Donahue, who's been on the Board of Trustees for some time, but it's his first time to chair the Board of Trustees, and I would ask that he give you a welcome. Trustee Donahue.
We on? Yep. Thank you, President Dietz, and thank you for the leadership you provide our university on a daily basis. Before I get started, I do want to acknowledge a couple people here. My colleagues as trustees, Betty Kinzer and Ellen Shoemaker, thank you for your support. I want to thank the Academic Senate for hosting this, my former colleague and dear friend Aaron Von Quaylen, and former President Strand. I think he's here somewhere, right there. Thank you for being here. Okay, how y'all doing? You doing all right? This university isn't just doing all right. This university is doing great. Record enrollment. Right, 20% increase from last year. Highest freshman class in 25 years. And these aren't just bodies that are coming here. These are quality students. Grade point average coming out of high school of 3.4, an average ACT score of 24. 200 of those incoming freshmen's ACT was actually 30 or higher. I'm glad that wasn't the bar when I was at this university. I don't think I would have got in. But it's not just enrollment. As you heard, record fundraising, $19.5 million of private contributions. Money Magazine, top 25 university for best value. And U.S. News and World Report, we're number 74 in the nation of the best public universities in this country. We are the envy of every other university in the state of Illinois. And this isn't by accident. This is because of a lot of hard work. And a lot of hard work from a lot of people, and most of those people are here in this audience today. I am so proud and thankful for the outstanding administration, faculty, staff, and student body here at ISU. Give yourselves a hand because you really deserve it. I see our vice presidents are here today, and I want to thank them for their dedication and service to the university. And something you may not know or realize is that as the Board of Trustees, we're responsible for one hire and one hire only, and that's the president. So we won't be involved in the formal hiring process of the vice presidents, but I can tell you we're interested. Oh yeah, we're going to watch this. And we probably have as much interest as a lot of you do. So don't be surprised if you see myself or one of my colleagues at the open forums, because we want to hear what the candidates have to say, because we want to make sure we get the best and brightest here at Illinois State. I've been on the board for a while. Arguably, I might be a seasoned veteran to the board, but as chair, this is a new experience. And so as such, I'm learning and growing in this role. One of the things, as chair, you'll see more of me. You'll see me at university events such as this. You'll see me at games. You'll see me on campus. And when you see me, come by and say hello. Send me an email. Tell me what we're doing right. But more so, tell me what we can do better. I often have to pinch myself and say, is this real? I'm a graduate of this university in 1982, and I am deeply honored and humbled that I've been given this opportunity 30 years later. So I promise I'm going to continue to do my part. I know my trustees are going to do their part. You all keep doing your part, and together we're going to make Illinois State the greatest university in all the land. I thank you, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Trustee Donahue. Now, as I indicated earlier, President Dietz will be glad to take a few questions from the audience. If anybody has any questions for President Dietz, please come to the microphones towards the front of each aisle. I have a couple of questions that were submitted through Faculty Staff Newsletter ISU Report, so I'll start out with one of them. President Dietz, when do you think the courts will rule on the pension issue? How do you think they will rule? And will that have any impact on ISU?
So the easy ones go first, is that? Before I answer that, I want to say thanks to Trustee Donahue and all the other trustees. We're in a bit of an enviable kind of position here in that all of our trustees are graduates of our institution. So they this is not only a satisfying intellectual process for them, but it's really a service and a work of the heart that's going on here. And we really appreciate your strong support and your advocacy. Now, what was the question? No. I wish I'd have brought my crystal ball. Frankly, I don't know a lot more than any of the rest of you who read the papers every time a press release happens on a story related to pension. What I've been told basically is that the courts hopefully will move on this sooner versus later. We're anticipating some activity on that, perhaps even yet this fall. The optimists say that the issue should be resolved sometime, perhaps latter part of this year or early part of next year. The pessimists think that it's going to be dragged out for many years, but I'm an optimist, and I'd like to side with the optimists, so that would be what I hope will happen. In terms of how they're going to rule and what they're going to rule, there's been a lot of coverage that would indicate that the reduction of benefits for those already enrolled will probably be ruled unconstitutional. The increase in health insurance probably will be ruled unconstitutional. But ultimately, who knows until the courts have addressed the issue. And the bottom line, one of the things that I know is that whatever happens in the court system, that we'll adapt in whatever way we need to. A net result, most likely, will be a cost shift. And that cost shift most likely will come back to educational institutions. When that happens, we don't have a pot of money to go to for that. So the press will again be on what happens with the tuition and dollars, how will those be increased to make up for that cost shift. There's no magical formula to this. There's not a lot of sources of revenue for us. The state's one, tuition is one, contracting grant activity is one, and private donations. Beyond that, there's not a lot of other magical places to go for money. And so if the cost shift does happen here, some of those places are going to have to be visited to figure out how, in fact, do we handle that cost shift. But I'm confident that we'll do that. We're adaptable folks, and we'll move ahead. Does that get close?
Thank you, President Dietz. If anybody would like to ask a question from the floor, please come forward. And if not, I will ask the second question from our email group. When will Atkin Colby and Hamilton Witten be torn down, and when will the fine arts remodeling begin? Okay.
When the courts decide the case with the pension reform, the first part of that, Atkin Colby South Towers, the plan is for next year at this time for those to be down. And hopefully the land leveled and maybe some grass planted. What happens before that, I think a lot of people think, well, there's going to be a terrific celebration and we'll auction off the opportunity to push a button for the demolition. Any demolition of that size, you spend a good deal of time removing asbestos from buildings that were built during that era. That'll take a lot of time. The other part is that we're working with the Historical Preservation Society now to make sure that we meet standards related to historical preservation. So that's the issue that's going on right now. Soon after that, once that's resolved, we'll start the asbestos removal process. That'll take the bulk of this academic year to get through that. But we anticipate that sometime early next summer, we'd really prefer that the students not be here when there's that demolition going on. And so we'd anticipate that after the academic year is finished, next summer will be a very busy summer to actually take down the facility. The other part of that related to fine arts, we have the money for the design plan part of that, and we have task forces that are working on that. We're in the infancy stage of that design plan, but that's on about the same track, a little ahead of the Bone Center revitalization project. So both of those we'll make great strides on those this year, but we have money in place for the design and planning part of that, and groups already beginning to work on that.
Thank you, President Dietz. I still see no brave souls in the audience, and since I know many of you, I don't recognize you anymore. I will ask our last question from the email. It is, with the increase in enrollment at ISU, are new residence halls and a dining center to replace Southside being considered?
Well, it depends on who you talk to, but the master plan does not call for that right now. We are not going to build another Watterson Hall. That serves us very, very well. It's highly popular among students. If we were going to expand at all, it might be a little bit more out at Cardinal Court. We may have an opportunity to do that down the road, but we're not right now anticipating another major housing construction project. I will say that internally we're reviewing our enrollment, we're reviewing those options, and keeping our options open about that. There may be some targeted housing that we might be able to build that won't be large structures, but would be targeted to segmented parts of the population. The Honors College, for example, is one place that would love to have an honors hall. We have other demands like that or other requests like that, and so if we do build, it's going to be, Tim Fredstrom's nodding his head back there about the honors. If we do build, it's going to be a very planful process, which is basically the Illinois State way. So we'll keep you informed of all that, but don't anticipate shovels coming out of closets and groundbreaking and that kind of stuff right now.
Our questions seem to have dwindled. I think that the unanswered question is already answered, that Dr. Dietz is having a lot of fun in his new role. I want to thank him and Trustee Donahue and everybody for coming. Thank you for coming. And there is a reception immediately following this in the hallway. Thank you, Dr. Dietz.
Thank you. Thank you for being such a kind audience. I appreciate it. Thank you.